52% of Hispanic voters think the government is doing too little to reduce illegal immigration, and only 15% say too much. Are those numbers a complete surprise? Maybe you've been following too much mainstream news. Luckily, Rasmussen reports, with the help of NumbersUSA, can set you straight. For almost 3 years, Rasmussen Reports has been working closely with NumbersUSA to poll on America's opinions about immigration. Every year, we poll at least 32,000 people with a set of 10 immigration-related questions, and that has given us a pretty unique insight into how public opinions about immigration have changed over time. In this picture, a higher number means people have a generally softer stance on immigration, and a lower number means vice versa. Check out that November 2020 to see how fast opinions can change. Sometimes, however, we take a deeper dive, as we did in May this year when we polled nearly 3,000 Hispanic voters. Search Google and you aren't going to find many polls like this, since Hispanic voters, as a group, are hard to define as a block and even harder to reach. But we took the time and effort to apply our methodology and get it right. I'll go over some of what we found, but this is a publicly sponsored poll, so feel free to examine all 18 questions in the Crosstabs yourself. First, note about demographics. I can't go into all the details and challenges of weighting a poll like this. We obviously couldn't weight the poll by race, but here are the numbers we use for gender, age, region, party, and income. Additionally, we know that 50% of this population attends religious services regularly, and 50% do not. 44% were Catholic, 25% Christian, and 31% something else. 52% had a college degree, 22% were immigrants, and 62% considered their primary identity Hispanic. Also, this group had a 50% Biden approval rating, which was within a few points of what our daily Biden approval rating showed for Hispanic voters at the same time we ran this poll. On the question of illegal immigration, is the government doing too much or too little to reduce illegal border crossings and visitor overstays? Or is the level of action about right? 15% say too much, but 52%, or more than 3 times as many, say too little. Among older Hispanics, the sentiment is much stronger, with only 2 times as many aged 18 to 39 saying too little, but roughly 7 times more among voters 40 plus. Republican and independent Hispanics, by a 6-1 margin, think the government isn't doing enough, but also many more Democrats agree, 37% to 19%. Lots of headlines have been devoted to painting efforts to reduce illegal border crossings as racist, but 80% of Hispanic voters say the U.S. is open and welcoming, including 43% who say very open and welcoming, and only 2% say not at all. These numbers were pretty consistent across all demographics, but the one that stuck out to me was that 54% of Trump voters said the U.S. was very open and welcoming, but only 35% of Biden Hispanic voters. Are Hispanic voters lockstep in line with all anti-immigration stances? Nope. 66% support giving lifetime work permits to most of the 2 million illegal residents who came here when they were minors, commonly called dreamers. 36% strongly support it, and only 8% are strongly opposed. 79% of Hispanic Democrats support dreamer work permits, and even 51% of Republicans. Want to know where Hispanic voters sit on party ID? This sample was 25% Republican, 47% Democrat, and 29% Independent. Democrats had a 10% lead among men, but a 32% lead among women. Democrats led by 30 points among 18 to 39-year-olds and 17% among those 40 to 65, but Republicans had a 3-point edge among those over 65. Over the last few years, however, 34% of voters have moved closer to the Republican Party and only 30% closer to the Democrat Party. Let's look at their 2020 votes. According to this poll, 52% of Hispanic voters voted for Biden, but only 37% for Trump, a 15-point advantage for Biden. But what would the election look like if a rematch were held today? keep in mind this poll was run this May, Biden would win by only 1 point, a 14-point shift in only, at the time of this polling, about 20 months since the 2020 election. Who did Trump gain the most in those 20 months? Democrats by 25%, 18 to 39-year-olds by 20%, women 16%, those who identify primarily as Hispanic 16%, middle-aged voters 15%, independents 14%, and men 13%. He didn't have much change among those age 65 plus, and he actually lost 6 points among Republicans. Perhaps the most relevant question in this poll, however, shows that among Hispanic voters, Democrats have only a 4-point edge in the generic ballot, even though Democrats had a 22-point edge in the sample party ID. We'd like to take another chance to thank NumbersUSA, who commissioned the poll, and we welcome you to follow the link in the description to check out their new book that features our poll, Political Migrants, Hispanic Voters on the Move. If you want to learn more about the shifting racial demographics and how they are going to influence electoral outcomes in the coming decades. The biggest takeaway, I'm pretty sure these numbers show that the growing ranks of Hispanic voters no longer represent an emerging Democrat majority. But check out the crosstabs and decide for yourself. Please take the moment to click the subscribe button so that we have less of an uphill battle reaching new people with our content.